let you in.
Hey!
Hey, Chloe.
What's up? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Good morning. Well, I guess
good
it's
morning.
afternoon there. It's in LA. It's only 9 a.m. So we're just
That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm very excited to have you here on the show. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Heck yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the interview first, and then we'll get into you performing the song.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. So for those of everybody who's watching who doesn't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, my name is Chloe Caroline. I'm a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles, California. I grew up in a little beach town, and I live here. I make music. I lived in Nashville for like 7 years, and also made music there, and went to college there. And so I've been writing my entire life. Music on Spotify and everywhere.
Yeah. So now, how did you get started in music?
Wow. I've been singing my entire life, pretty much. I just have always loved it. My dad sang to me as a kid, like would write songs, and was just always playing music of like all sorts. And I just immediately was like drawn to it. I started playing piano when I was like 6 years old, and wrote my first song when I was like 6. I was a 6-year-old who knew what I was doing, but I just always was like a fan of like creative writing and would write poetry and stories, and just like loved just like the creative world and like where, you know, my imagination would take me. And then when I was 11, I picked up a guitar and taught myself guitar on YouTube, and was obsessed with like finding other artists that wrote their own music, and decided like, okay, like this is what I want to do. Like this is what I was already doing like in my bedroom, and didn't really like think anything of it. I just didn't know anyone else that did it, you know? Like it was just like, it started literally with like me just like writing lyrics in a little journal and like humming melodies to like make my sister laugh and just whatever it was. And then I started posting my songs to Facebook, and it was during a time that like I had been going through like a really difficult illness, and it was just therapeutic for me. And I kind of, you know, used it as an outlet, and like most people do who start out in music. And then I realized people were liking it, you know, and like I'd go to school and my friends would be like, well, where can I hear your song? Like, oh my gosh, I really relate to it. And it was just the coolest thing to hear. And so once I got to high school, I was like, okay, well, like this is something I really want to pursue. And I made a little like just like a couple demos. I got them like recorded, and then ended up moving to Nashville right out of high school. And I went to Belmont University, studied music business, and it's right on Music Row. And so there's all the labels and publishers. And for the first time, I was like surrounded by kids that did what I did, and really got to, work with them, write with them, blossom, I guess, as an artist.
Yeah. So now, so you also did a little bit of acting as
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Like, how did that come into play?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I've always loved like writing music for like film and TV stuff. Like I think junior year of college, I got to write an end title for this movie called The Great Gilly Hopkins. And that was super exciting. That was like the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And I've always been like fascinated with that world though, like my whole life. Like I just loved soundtracks to movies. And so I started writing more for that. And then randomly one day I was asked to audition. Like somebody had found my, like a music video that I had done, and they liked my music, and they're like, you would be perfect for this role. Like I'd never acted in my life. And I was like, okay, like, and whatever, like submitted a little like audition tape. Like I was on vacation actually up in Canada, and I submitted it and submitted my songs as well. Like just a bunch of like random songs. like old songs actually, and they really liked them, and it ended up just being fitting, and I got the role like literally a couple days later and was flown to, I was already in Canada, but they shot the film ironically in Canada too, and was flown to like Winnipeg to shoot. So it was super random, but like such a blessing. Like, oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah, it's just like, it was really funny because like I was like just doing like my research and I saw that you were in that movie,
Yeah.
Love of Course, and I was like, where can I watch this movie? And then it said it was gonna be on TV on Friday, and I was just like, how ironic! Like it's on like 2 days.
Crazy. I'm so glad you got to see it though. Yeah. It was so fun just because like I got to have so much of my music in it. Like that is such a rare thing. So it was so cool.
Yeah. So now, where does your songwriting inspirations come from?
Oh wow. So many places. I mean, of course, other songwriters and other artists have influenced like just like my sound in general, but I think that most of the stuff that I write is very personal and real, and it's either from my own experiences or people like around me and just like my environment. But I feel like oftentimes just like on a regular basis, like I mean I'll go on like these like long like 6-mile walks to get inspiration just from like everything around me, and like things will pop into my head. And I think most of it though for me does come from real life and like putting me in scenarios that, you know, I feel like other people will relate to. And for me, like I said, like it's always been a therapy, so I still use it as therapy. And obviously it's like my job now, but it's still like a way for me to like I guess express like human emotion. And so for me it's just I want people to feel like they have someone to talk to, someone that understands them. So for me it's all about like writing songs that are relatable for other people and really honest, even if they're a little too honest sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So now, who are some of your favorite musical influences?
So like I said, like I grew up listening to everything. So everything from like Stevie Nicks and like Frank Sinatra and like the Carpenters, a lot of like 70s, I would say 60s and 70s, like old school music I was raised on, but also grew up in the time of like Avril Lavigne and Michelle Branch and like Alanis Morissette and like all those artists, and like those were like my heroes as a kid. So there's like a little bit of everything, but I would say like this mix of like, you know, early 2000s, late 90s, and like the 70s, which is like sounds funny, but it's kind of like a melting pot of this like pop singer-songwriter, you know, little soul folky thing. Yeah.
So now, what are your upcoming plans for the future? I know you just released your song Golden Hour.
I did.
Which you're gonna be performing for us.
I am, yeah. So yeah, I released a record in June, and then I just released Golden Hour, and then I'm about starting fall. I'm about to release a ton of new music as well, a bunch of singles, and then another record or EP. Figuring out that plan right now, but I have so much music. I have about like literally 2 albums worth of music, so I'm about to just like, you know, get it.
Just release it all.
Yeah, so that and you know, of course, like who knows what's going on with the whole Corona thing and shows, but hopefully some things will get back in the works as far as that goes. But yeah, be on the lookout for a ton of new music.
All right, you heard her, guys. So now, do you have any advice for anybody who wants to chase their dreams? Like, I know you're still fairly new, but you've been doing it for a bit.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, and this is like the advice that like I follow for myself too, is like I think first and foremost, like find out like who you are and like be your authentic self, because I think a lot of times in this industry, well, I guess I feel like the more honest you are with yourself and the more you know who you are, the, you know, just the more successful you're going to be, and the more that's going to radiate to like other people, and people are going to pick up on that, and opportunities are going to come your way. And I think a lot of people, you know, try to fit in a box, and you don't need to do that necessarily to get where you need to be. And there's no rules, you know. There's no rules. And for me, like what's worked is just being Chloe. And it's like, you know, of course it's hard. It's not always easy to like just be yourself. You could easily be like, oh, maybe it'd be so much easier if I just did what somebody else was doing because it's already worked, you know, like I know it works, but I just think that that's, I don't know, there's only one of you, you know, it sounds so generic, but it's true. So that, and then I would say just like be really intentional with like what you want to do and try and like lay out a plan, you know, and have like a checklist and goals. And even if it's just like in your head, I think writing it down really helps, but I think just like being really intentional and then like making moves based on that is super important. So yeah.
Okay, so now for everybody who's in here who doesn't know who you are and may want to check out your music, where could they find you?
Yeah.
Look in your social media.
Yes. Okay. So Instagram is at Chloe Caroline, and Twitter at I'm Chloe Caroline, and then ChloeCaroline.com. Like if you just type in my name on Spotify, Chloe Caroline. But if you go to my website, which is ChloeCaroline.com, all of my links are there to my socials, everything like that. Yeah.
So now you're gonna be performing Golden Hour for us right now. So why don't you introduce it?
Yeah.
Maybe give us a little backstory of what it's about, and we can get right into it.
Yeah, so this song I just released on Friday, and it's a song that like I had started writing in like 2017, and I had done a completely different version and recorded it, everything. And then my friend Emma that I wrote it with, we were like, I don't know, like I feel like there's something different we need to do with it. And we ended up completely rewriting the song, entirely rewriting the song, like keeping the same concept, but re-recording it. And basically I just had this idea of like a golden hour and like it kind of being a metaphor for a perfect moment in time in a relationship. And I think that like every relationship has one of those moments like that's over and you can look back and be like, oh, that was it. That was when it was good, you know, and great. And some relationships are short and sweet. Some are obviously longer than others, but I feel like there's definitely like a time where you're like, this is the best it ever was, you know? And especially if you look back at like summer love or this, you know, and you're nostalgic. And I think it also transcends though beyond just like relationships. I think we can all look at like a summer and like the end of a summer and look back at like that like perfect moment in that time we had with somebody and those memories that come along with it. And, you know, golden hour is that like most perfect time of day. And, you know, it doesn't last forever, but you are living in the moment in that exact second, you know what I mean? And so for me, it was kind of like, I want this song right now for people to be like, okay, this is the now, this is all we have, even though it's like the weirdest summer ever. And, you know, it's a pandemic and a bunch of stuff's going on in the world. Like we need some like positivity. And I think that we can make it. This is all we have. You know, we don't know like what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's kind of just about like it's looking back on the past and appreciating it, but also realizing like, you know what, maybe I can now, you know? So yeah. That's cool now for you. Should I play?
Yeah, take it away.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Also, it's the first time I've ever played this song live, you know? So bear with me. But anyways, hope you guys like it. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. For a moment, oh shit, sorry. For a moment, we thought we'd never see the night. It was the perfect kind of light tonight. Far between you and I. For a hot minute, from a tree. Now we know that kind of heat. Stick around, bound to cool down eventually. The time was right, your love is light. Kids running out of sight, still get up before it's gone.
almost July, and I can't help but think of you. Before the rising of the moon, the way you move when the sun set down on you. What a beautiful view, but the time was right. Your love is light, kids running out of sight. Still get up before it's gone. Soft like kiss on my lips, even though it's over. We both know it was gold, it was ours. Oh, it's bittersweet, it's complicated, know what we had. Watching something that was glowing fade into black. So bittersweet, so complicated, know what we could look back. The time was right, we were loving life. Kids running out of sight, still get up before it's gone. Soft like kiss on my lips, even though it's over. We both know it was gold, it was ours, it was our golden hour. Oh, oh, oh. Go, go, go.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That was really good. That was really good.
Thank you. Sorry I cursed at the beginning there.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Hands aren't working this morning.
No, it's fine. But yeah, so would you like to plug in your social media one more time for everybody who's watching?
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is just at Chloe Caroline, and my Twitter is at I'm Chloe Caroline. My YouTube is youtube.com/Chloe Caroline Music, or you can go to my website, just chloecaroline.com, and that's all there. If you just type my name on Spotify, same thing, just Chloe Caroline. But yeah, make sure to reach out. If you watch this, like, send me a DM. Like, I would love to connect with you. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Do I just hang up here? Or? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll exit you out.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
See ya.
All right, guys, that was Chloe Caroline. So, Michael, if you want to request the box, if you heard the instructions before, it's the plus sign next to the chat box and the guest.
What's up?
Hey,
Hang on. I'm getting washed out. Nice. All right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, now we'll do the interview, and then you're gonna do one or two songs,
All right.
whatever. How many songs you want to do? So,
All right. We'll do 17 songs.
17 songs. All right. So now, for everybody who's watching who doesn't know who you are, introduce yourself.
My name is Michael Simeon. I'm a full-time musician and songwriter and entertainer in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been here for 3 years. I've been doing music for, I would say forever, but arguably 20.
Sounds good. So now, how did you get started in music?
My mom was a music director for 17 years, and she says that I hummed before I could talk. So, kind of that. And then I got my first guitar when I was 7. And I heard Chloe said she learned from YouTube. I got to experience YouTube when I was 18 or 19. Because we lived out in the middle of the boondocks in Mississippi, so we had dial-up internet. So if you wanted to load a YouTube video, you started loading it at 6 a.m. and then you'd get it about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. But there's a guy at church that I watched play, and that's kind of just how I figured it out.
That's pretty cool. So now you just released a new song on SoundCloud, I saw.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about that and tell us about it?
So my a couple weeks ago, I I realized that I hadn't put any music out in years, and so I was like, I should probably start doing that. And I'm a perfectionist, which is like the Achilles heel of musicians, is trying to be perfect all the time, because then you end up not doing anything. So I just decided, instead of being perfect, I'm going to be done. And so I'm sitting on all these songs, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start putting out a new song every Tuesday until I run out of songs. And I counted them, and there's, I stopped counting them, but there's somewhere between 200 and 300 songs.
That's crazy.
Which means that some of them might not be good. But yeah, 3 weeks ago I started putting out a new song every Tuesday, and the most recent one was "Losing It," and that's pretty much about how we're all kind of losing our minds through all this 2020 stuff.
Okay.
And the one before that was "You Didn't Know Me Then," because we're all growing and evolving and changing as we go through life. And the one before that is "I Hate You More," and that's because when I was breaking up with an ex of mine, and she was so angry, she said, "You were the worst thing that ever happened to me, but you were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I hate you more for that." So I wrote a song kind of about that.
Gotta love exes on those.
Oh yeah, no, it was a great line. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, so now I didn't know if you wanted to touch on this, but I know you were on, people may know you from American Idol.
Yeah, Top 24, season 14.
Top 24, season 14. How was that for you? Like what was your big takeaway on being a televised TV show? Like for anybody who wants to go on a show like either American Idol, The Voice, whatever it may be, like what's your takeaway? What's your advice for them?
It's more about relationships than it's about like the show itself. So the coolest part for me was all the people I got to meet, and that's inclusive of the other contestants and the producers and the band and the vocal coaches that came in to help out and stuff like that. And then past that, I've met people who followed me on the show, and like followed me on social media, and then have come to a show in Nashville and now are friends. So like it was just a really cool experience overall in terms of meeting people and kind of making lifelong connections.
Yeah, definitely. So now, who are some of your musical influences?
Musical influences. So growing up, pretty much all I could listen to was like Disney and gospel, and I was like Dean Martin and Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra, obviously, but like old crooner kind. And I didn't start listening to country until I was 19 and started playing in my college town bars. And which is funny because I grew up on a cattle farm, so you'd think I would have listened to country all the time. But really, like, it depends, because I enjoy a lot of different genres, and I think it's because it's been sectioned throughout my life so much that way. But I would say anything with soul, so like I pull a lot from Stapleton and John Mayer, Bill Withers, love Bill Withers, B.B. King, Nina Simone, Chantel. Anything with soul, I kind of pull out of that. I've recently gotten really into Charlie Puth too.
Yeah,
So-
he's a good one.
He's awesome.
So, now, what are your upcoming plans for the future? Are you,
Oh.
like you said, you're going to be releasing more songs
Yeah,
until they're all released.
yeah. So I have an album that's nearly done that I had somebody else recording for me, and then the pandemic hit, and so I had to put that on hold, for financial reasons, because
Yeah.
gotta have a place to live. But other than that, I play 7 days a week, even now, for like an hour and 15 minutes a day at a little place called The Row in Nashville. And other places are starting to open back up, so I'll start going back to doing more stuff. Because before all this, I was playing 8 to 12 hours a day, anywhere between 2 and 4 shows a day, which may not really be sustainable, but I was doing it. So, yeah, my goal is just to put out as many songs and as much content as possible, and hopefully people like it when they hear it.
Definitely. I mean, at least you got music going on in Nashville. Up here in New York, we've got the opposite. We've got the governor telling us that we can't even have music going on in bars. He's like banning it.
It's so wild to me.
Yeah, New York is just like, I mean, like there's been a few outdoor concerts, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Music is like banned here for the most part right now.
It was that way here for a little while.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's Music City, and we didn't have music for like 3 months. And then he reopened restaurants, and the bars had to stay closed because I guess it's more dangerous in a bar that serves food than a restaurant that serves alcohol.
Yeah, makes no sense. So now, let's see. So why don't you plug in your social media for people who don't know you and want to find you?
Well, most of my social media is Michael Simeon with no spaces, and then my TikTok and my YouTube and my website are all Michael Simeon Music. So those 3. But Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Meet Me is all Michael Simeon. SoundCloud.
So how's your experience been here on Meet Me? Have you been enjoyed?
On Meet Me?
Yeah.
I've actually been having a good time. It's way more fun it's been more fun for me to stream here than it has like on Facebook or Instagram or all that. So I think it's cool because there's a lot of different like interactive stuff. And
I'm glad you like it.
It's been fun.
Yeah. So do you plan on like having a set streaming time, or are you gonna be like streaming like weekly, or like do you have any?
I was
just whatever.
I was trying to get on about 3 o'clock every day.
3 o'clock every day?
And then life kind of hit me in the face, so
yeah.
I got busy. And I guess really I probably still could do 3 o'clock even if it's 15 minutes. But my goal was to have at least an hour blocked out. And
you can even do just like once a week for an hour. Like you don't have to do every day.
Right. Yeah. I just like doing it, so that's what I was trying to do. But I've missed a couple of days, so maybe I'll set 1 day a week that's absolutely going to happen, and then every other day just kind of play it by ear because I never know when a write's going to come up or a recording session or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody who's in the stream right now, make sure you're following Michael because he's gonna be going live and he'll be playing for you, and going to be playing it a little bit, so if you like what you hear, definitely go figure.
Heck yeah.
So now, with that being said, I know I asked this question to Chloe, but I'll ask it to you because I know everybody has different answers. Do you have any advice for people who want to follow their dreams or chase their goals?
Anybody who wants to follow their dreams?
Yeah, or chase their goals.
Are you talking about specifically being a singer or anything in general?
I guess specifically being a singer.
Specifically being a singer? What I tell people is you got to really love it. So you got to do it for the love and not for the likes. So if you put out a song and you're the only one that listened to it, it gets one play, you need to be so happy with the finished product of whatever song that is that it doesn't matter if you're getting a couple thousand or a couple million hits on it or if nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Two, if you do it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons because it's a difficult industry to make money in. It is possible, but it's certainly harder than plenty of other options. Because I went to college and I didn't go for music. I got a degree in electrical engineering and decided that this is what I really love to do, and so I'd rather do this than anything else. And I've always known that, but I got caught in the practicality net, I call it, where you're like, oh, you're gonna need a fallback, and I've decided, no, now my fallback is I have no fallback.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my advice: is just do it because you love it, not for any other reason, not for recognition or fame or compliments or likes or comments on the internet. Just because you love doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel you. Like when I was in college, I went for like music technology, and it was just like all like the learning like Pro Tools and everything and stuff like that. And then people were just like, you can do that on your own time. Like you don't have to be paying for that in here. And I was just like, you're right. And so like I went back to my other major, and I was just like, you're right. There are much better options out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can learn a lot nowadays.
Yeah, and that's why I have the show too, because like there are so many artists out there and musicians who don't get the exposure. And I've seen so many talented people who have just given up because financially they can't support themselves trying to make music as a living or a career, because so it's just like a shame that there's so many talented people and like not enough people are getting heard. So that's why I've always been the type of person. Like I had a radio show in community college, and I did the same thing that I'm doing now on this platform, where I bring in people that nobody knows and I help get them heard, and like
That's awesome.
Help the exposure. So yeah, I'm happy to help everyone out, especially you.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me.
Getting the exposure that they need and making sure that they make it to work to their goals and wherever they want to go in their musical path.
It is a long, tough road.
It is.
But it's a fun one if you choose to have the right perspective.
Yeah. So now you're going to play your acoustic set for us. So
Alrighty.
why don't you introduce this song and tell us about it?
So I went home to Mississippi, I guess about a month and a half ago, and in I guess a grand total of 6 hours, but 2 nights, so 3 hours one night and 3 hours the next night. I wrote 5 songs. And the song titles are Hey, It's Gonna Be One Hell of a Story Someday. So the 5-song EP is gonna be Hey, it's gonna be one hell of a story someday. So each song is the next line in the phrase. But this is B1, and it's kind of about like no matter how something ends or whatever, sometimes you're happy you just got to be one of the people in the other person's life. And so this is B1. We call it perfect, something real. You meet somebody and they say they feel how you feel. For a while, ain't always deserving of it, man. Never stop serving. Oh, when you say goodbye to your best friend, the memories still make you smile. There's gonna be one perfect time, perfect lines when your horn skips out of your chest. Oh, there'll be one make he's doing his best. There's gonna be one who's too far gone, so you better remember when it's all said and done. Girl, I'm glad I got to be one. Special occasions, favorite time. It's a vacation when you fall into another mind. Like a dream, there will come one day you'll forget every little thing somebody did, but you'll never forget the things said that were so sweet. There's gonna be one perfect time with perfect lines when your horn speaks out of your chest. Oh, there'll be one makes you cry, thinks he's doing his best. There's gonna be one that's too far gone, so you better remember when it's all said and done. I'm glad I got to be one. Oh, even with the fall apart, I'll never let you leave the side. Despite the need to separate, hope you remember every day. There's gonna be one perfect time when your horn skips out of your chest. Oh, there will be one makes you cry and he thinks he's doing his best. There's gonna be one that's too far gone, so you better remember when it's all said and done. 'Cause I'm glad I got to be one. Glad I got to be one. That's B1. Woo! And thank you, Angela, for all the roses and hearts and heart eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's B1. And that's the second song on that little 5-song EP.
And so that doesn't have a release date yet because you're waiting for the pandemic to.
No, so that actually that's not the album I was working on. The album I was working on is like a year and a half in the making with a legitimate producer. So
So is this one out?
Not yet,
No.
but probably in the next few months. I'm just going to release them as an acoustic EP. Not even worry about making them, fancy, and seeing if people like it. Angela liked it. Thank you.
All right. So you want to play one more for us, or
I can. You want a sad one or a happy one?
whichever.
Whichever. Let's see if I remember this. I'm never up before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so this is early for me. But I got up at 9 for you today, so.
Thank you.
See, guys, with Kim, all things are possible. All right. Even me waking up before the crack of noon. All right. I don't know if I'm even going to remember the words now. This one's more mellow. I keep taking these excuses to my chin, but I've got up now and found out somehow the boat I was swimming in. Oh, he called me at my first show just to let me know you were leaving. So happy that you chose to get up and go, 'cause looks can be deceiving. Let me believe. Let me believe. Do you see? Can you ever see? I'm not who I used to be. Ooh, I used to be. Was there a time we were found for a reason? Or was pretend just something that I was believing? Now, I don't know. Did you love it when you broke it into pieces? Or was it something that you needed to let it go? You let me believe. Let me believe. Do you see? Could you ever see? I'm not who I used to be. That's who I used to be.
That was really good.
Throw a little guitar solo in the middle there whenever I put it together. Be a good time. I like sad songs because I feel like I'm happy all the time, so I write really sad songs. And
So it's just like, I'm gonna write a sad song because I'm happy.
exactly. I have I have some like neutral songs, I guess, but
Yeah.
very few happy songs. And I always tell my friends, I'm like, if I ever write a happy song, you should probably check on me.
Yeah.
I do the opposite for some reason.
All right. So now, do you want to plug in your social media one more time?
Absolutely. It says it for everybody, right? Michael Simeon.
Yeah.
This is cool. It's kind of like having a logo. Just
Yeah.
It's Michael Simeon on everything with no spaces. And so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, and then YouTube and TikTok and my website are all Michael Simeon music. So just Michael Simeon with a music on the end of it. And that's it. Yeah.
And also, guys, don't forget to favorite him and
Yeah.
become live.
I'm going to go live here in a minute after I plug my phone in.
All right. So, guys, he's going to go live in a minute.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I think this is cool that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you again for coming on, and maybe I'll stop by in a few minutes to see you do your thing in Christian.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right.
Have a good one. God bless.
You too. All right, guys, that was Michael Simeon.